Did you ever promise yourself that the next time you get angry with your kids, with your husband, with your colleagues, with traffic, that you're gonna try to control your emotions and not be as reactive as usual? Next thing you know, you're feeling triggered, you're feeling angry, and all of these promises you made to yourself fly right out the window. I know exactly why this happens, and in today's video and over the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you tips and tools that will help you stay calm as a busy, triggered, imperfect mom just like me. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Muna, and I'm so happy to have you here. Before we get into today's tool, there's something really important you and I need to remember and understand about anger. Anger is a physiological, biological state that we enter when we're feeling triggered. If you're on the edge and you're about to lose your temper, it's because your nervous system has detected a threat. And this threat could just be your 3-year-old having a meltdown in the middle of the grocery store. And I know how stressful that is. I promise my daughter's done it many, many times. And when your nervous system detects this kind of threat, it activates our stress response. And the stress response then leads us to go into either fight mode, flight mode, or freeze mode. Now, I want you to imagine something with me. I want you to imagine that your mind is made up of 2 floors. And on the bottom floor is where you house all of your strong emotions: frustration, anger, jealousy, fear. And on the top floor is where you have access to what we call our executive functions, like logical thinking, rational thinking, ability to see the big picture, long-term vision, and all of these amazing things that our brain is able to do for us. Now, when your stress response is activated, whether you go into the flight mode, which is running away and escaping from the situation as quick as possible, or the fight mode where you're angry and you're fighting and maybe even getting violent, or in the freeze mode, which is where I tend to go when I'm really, really triggered, which is getting stuck with our emotions and not being able to move or to truly function or choose a path to take. No matter which of these modes you enter, you have literally cut off, when you're feeling these emotions, you've literally cut off the connection between the first floor and the second floor of your mind. You're feeling super triggered and your stress response is turned on. You feel threatened by whatever's happening in your environment or whatever you're thinking in your mind. And right now, you're stuck on the first floor of emotions. On the second floor, the lights are off currently for this moment in time. We might have read books or taken courses or listened to podcasts that help us control our temper, but when our nervous system and our biological response kicks in, it's almost as if we have no access whatsoever to this kind of learning that we promised ourselves we're gonna implement the next time we get angry. And then we feel bad about it and we beat ourselves up for losing our temper and for being completely reactive and not following through on the promise that we made to ourselves. Now, I want you, since you're calm right now, I hope, and you have full access to your prefrontal cortex, I want us to think about this logically and to apply some common sense. Since anger is a biological state that we enter, it's something that happens in our nervous systems and in our bodies. Does it make sense to try to solve it with thought alone? To me, it doesn't make sense. What we need to do instead is go through the body. Because when you're angry and somebody comes and says, oh, well, think about it this way or calm down, it doesn't really help because you're not able to think about it in any way because you're feeling your emotions so strongly in your body. And you have no access to the prefrontal cortex that allows you to think long term and have that big picture vision. So instead of thinking about it, I want us to start doing something with our bodies that we all have access to help ourselves in these moments of anger and frustration. The tool that you're about to start using is something that you have used all of your life, every second of your life, in fact, and you wouldn't be here without it. At this very moment, definitely wouldn't be watching this video. And it is your breath. I know that you're probably rolling your eyes now and thinking, come on, I breathe all the time and I've read about it. Yeah, there's nothing new here, but hear me out. Research tells us that you and I, on a normal day, even when we're not stressed, we are only taking in enough oxygen to fill up 20 to 30% of our lung capacity, which means there's more space to have more oxygen flow through our bodies. Let's go back to the fact that when we're angry and our stress response is activated, that sends a message to our body that danger is in fact near and that we need to fight or flee or freeze. And when you're in that state, I want you to imagine, what is your breathing like? Is it slow and deep and full? Or do you think you'd be breathing more quickly and more shallow? You guessed it. When you're nervous, when you're angry, when you're activated in this way, your breathing is very quick and shallow, and probably from the chest up. What we usually tend to do when we're stressed and we're feeling all of these emotions is our shoulders go up and we start breathing. And then what happens is our body sends a message to our brain that we are really in danger, because now our nervous system is activated, our body is activated, our breath is proving to our brain that danger is near, and our brain now is telling our bodies that yes, be on alert, something bad's about to happen. And all of this is happening in a matter of milliseconds that we're not aware of. And this is why the breath is the tool that will help us not only in these moments, but in all other moments of our lives. There's so many different techniques that you can learn to breathe, to calm yourself down. You can Google them, you can find so many different ways. I have learned a few ways myself, and there's one that I tend to go back to the most because it genuinely calms me down when I'm feeling activated and triggered. And it's called 4-7-8. And basically, it's taking in deep breaths for the count of 4 and then holding it to the count of 7 and then exhaling to the count of 8. So let's do this together now. But before we go there, I want you to have this vision in your mind. I want you to imagine that when the oxygen goes into your body, I want you to imagine it filling all of your body, every cell of your body, and not just the 20% of your lungs that we're used to breathing with. So just picture that as you start. And let's put our hands on our tummies, and this is our chance to let our tummies go and to breathe out and let them even get bigger. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna breathe in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it to the count of 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale to the count of 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it again. Deep breath in to the count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold it to the count of 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale to the count of 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you feel? If you feel a bit dizzy, that's normal because you're not used to breathing this deeply and this fully. You're not used to doing that in your everyday life. I noticed that about myself when I started learning these techniques. I even got dizzy now without doing the exercise fully with you. But it's because we're really not used to allowing so much oxygen into our bodies and into our brains. But when we do that, remember that you are sending a message from your body to your brain that you're okay. Every time you practice this technique, when you're calm and you're collected, you're training yourself to use this when you're actually angry and you're about to lose your temper. So, your homework for today is to commit to yourself that you're going to practice this at least 3 times every day for the next week. I hope that this can become a habit that you adopt forever, but let's just try it out for a week and see how you feel. Whenever you're feeling normal, you're sitting here right now, as soon as we finish this video, why don't you sit down and take in 10 or 20 deep breaths like these? I promise you, you're going to feel so much better after. And like we said, the more you practice in those moments of calm, the more this will come to you naturally in the moments of chaos. Promise me to try it. Tell me in the comments, are you going to do it for this week? I really want to hear from you and see how helpful this tip has been for you. In the next video, I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite tools to calm down, and it's my go-to whenever I am feeling all of these big emotions that we've been talking about today. I hope this was helpful for you. Stay tuned for the next videos in this series, and I'll see you next time.